Wellness optimization. Dr. Harrison's office is located on the Upper East Side in a limestone townhouse. The waiting room features original Rothko paintings and furniture that looks like it was designed by Philippe Starck or maybe just some expensive Italian whose name I can't pronounce but whose aesthetic signals understated wealth and medical discretion. The receptionist is this blonde woman in her late 20s wearing what appears to be a theory blazer in navy blue that costs maybe $800 and suggests she went to some decent college but not an Ivy League school. Her blouse is white silk from equipment and her jewelry consists of a Cartier watch that was probably a gift from some wealthy patient who wanted to ensure special treatment. "Mr. Vale," she says while looking up from her computer screen with the kind of professional smile that expensive medical practices train their staff to use when addressing clients who pay cash for services that aren't covered by insurance. "Dr. Harrison will see you now." Dr. Harrison is probably 50 years old with gray hair that's been professionally styled to look distinguished rather than old. He's wearing scrubs that are definitely not standard hospital issue because they fit too well and the fabric looks too expensive. These are probably custom-made scrubs from some boutique medical supply company that caters to concierge physicians who treat celebrities and billionaires and people like me who need medical services that can't be traced through insurance records or electronic health systems. His shoes are Italian leather loafers that cost at least $1,000, which seems excessive for someone who spends most of his day in sterile examination rooms but probably makes sense when your patient base includes people who judge professional competence based on accessory choices. "Preston," Dr. Harrison says while extending his hand for a handshake that's firm but not aggressive because he understands that wealthy patients don't respond well to physical dominance displays from their service providers. "How are you feeling today?" "Like I need to optimize my cellular regeneration protocols," I reply while settling into the examination chair that's been upholstered in Italian leather. My biometric tracking data suggests that my mitochondrial efficiency has declined by approximately 3% over the past month. This is the kind of quantified self-language that expensive doctors love to hear because it suggests that their patients are sophisticated consumers who understand the difference between evidence-based medicine and wellness theater. Dr. Harrison specializes in what he calls longevity medicine, which is basically a combination of legitimate medical interventions and expensive placebo treatments that make wealthy people feel like they're purchasing immortality through pharmaceutical optimization and biomarker manipulation. "Let's review your latest blood work," Dr. Harrison says while pulling up test results on a tablet that probably costs more than his receptionist's monthly salary. "Your testosterone levels are excellent for someone your age. IGF-1 is in the optimal range. Inflammatory markers are practically non-existent. Whatever you're doing is working." "What I'm doing is taking approximately 49 different supplements every morning plus growth hormone injections that I get from a clinic in Mexico that doesn't ask questions about medical necessity or FDA approval. I'm also using Ozempic for appetite suppression and modafinil for cognitive enhancement and pharmaceutical-grade testosterone that I source from a contact at Columbia Presbyterian who steals it from the endocrinology department." Concierge medicine doctors like Harrison don't ask too many questions about how their patients achieve their optimal biomarkers as long as the patients pay cash and don't cause regulatory problems. "I want to add NAD plus IV therapy to my protocol," I tell Dr. Harrison while thinking about how easy it would be to inject an air bubble into the foreline and watch him die from a fat embolism. "Also peptide therapy for cellular repair and maybe some experimental stem cell treatments if you have access to fresh samples." NAD plus is nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, which is supposedly essential for cellular energy production and DNA repair. The IV therapy costs $1,500 per session and probably doesn't do anything that regular exercise and adequate sleep couldn't accomplish more effectively. But the ritual of receiving expensive medical treatments makes me feel like I'm actively investing in my physical superiority rather than just relying on genetic advantages and pharmaceutical enhancement. "I can arrange NAD plus therapy sessions twice per week," Dr. Harrison replies while making notes on his tablet with the kind of expensive stylus that doctors use when they want to project technological sophistication. "For peptides I recommend BPC 157 for tissue repair and CJC 1295 for growth hormone optimization. Both are completely legal under current FDA guidelines for research purposes. Peptide therapy exists in a regulatory gray area where substances that aren't technically approved for human consumption can be legally prescribed for research purposes, as long as the patient signs the right waivers and pays the right fees. This allows people like me to access experimental treatments that might provide actual anti-aging benefits or might just be expensive placebos that make us feel like we're getting access to cutting-edge medical technology. What about stem cell therapy? I asked while calculating how much money I'm about to spend on medical treatments that might be completely useless but will definitely make me feel superior to people who rely on conventional healthcare systems. I have a colleague in Panama who operates a stem cell clinic using umbilical cord blood from healthy donors, Dr. Harrison explains while lowering his voice like he's discussing classified information instead of medical tourism. The treatment involves harvesting stem cells from cord blood and then re-injecting them into specific areas where you want enhanced cellular regeneration. Completely legal under Panamanian medical regulations. This is exactly the kind of medical procedure that wealthy people love because it sounds scientific and exclusive and slightly dangerous. The fact that it requires international travel and operates in a regulatory gray area makes it even more appealing because it suggests that you're getting access to treatments that aren't available to ordinary people through ordinary medical channels. Whether it actually works is less important than the feeling that you're purchasing biological advantages that money can't technically buy but somehow money can actually buy if you know the right doctors and ask the right questions. Schedule me for 3 sessions, I tell Dr. Harrison while thinking about how the stem cells are probably harvested from babies who died during childbirth and how those dead babies are now going to provide me with enhanced longevity and cellular repair. I want the full protocol with growth factors and whatever other experimental treatments you think might be beneficial. The examination continues for another hour with detailed discussions of hormone optimization and cognitive enhancement and cellular repair protocols. Dr. Harrison measures my body fat percentage using a machine that costs $50,000 and tells me what I already know, which is that I'm in better physical condition than 99% of men my age. He checks my blood pressure and heart rate and reflexes and pronounces everything perfect, which is exactly what I pay him to say regardless of what the actual measurements indicate. Your supplement regimen is obviously working, Dr. Harrison observes while reviewing a list of the different pills and powders and injections that I consume every morning. But I'd recommend adding a few additional compounds to optimize your neurotransmitter balance and enhance your stress response. He recommends adding C-Link for anxiety reduction and Nupep for memory enhancement and phenylpiracetam for focus and energy. These are all nootropic compounds that exist in the same regulatory gray area as peptide therapy, where they're not technically approved for human consumption but can be legally prescribed for research purposes. The total cost for these additional supplements will be approximately $3,000 per month, but that's a small price to pay for the feeling that I'm optimizing my cognitive performance beyond the normal limitations of human neurology. I also want to discuss your stress management protocols, Dr. Harrison continues while pulling up what appears to be a meditation app on his tablet. Your cortisol levels are elevated, which suggests that you're experiencing chronic stress despite your excellent physical condition. The chronic stress is probably caused by the fact that I spend most of my time planning and executing financial crimes that could result in federal prison sentences if anyone discovers what I'm actually doing with other people's money. But I can't explain this to Dr. Harrison because even concierge physicians have ethical obligations to report criminal activity, and I'm not sure whether doctor-patient privilege extends to ongoing fraud conspiracies. I practice meditation and breathing exercises. I lie while thinking about how relaxing it would be to strangle Dr. Harrison with the stethoscope that's hanging around his neck. Maybe I need to adjust my technique or try different mindfulness approaches. I recommend transcendental meditation with a certified instructor, Dr. Harrison suggests while showing me promotional materials for a meditation program that costs $5,000 and promises to unlock higher states of consciousness through proprietary breathing techniques. Also consider adding MDMA-assisted therapy sessions if you're interested in exploring deeper psychological healing. MDMA-assisted therapy is the latest wellness trend among wealthy people who want to experience the benefits of illegal drugs in legal medical settings. The therapy involves taking pharmaceutical-grade MDMA under medical supervision while discussing psychological issues with a licensed therapist. It's supposed to promote emotional healing and self-awareness and spiritual growth, but really it's just an expensive way for rich people to do party drugs while pretending they're engaged in serious medical treatment. That sounds interesting, I tell Dr. Harrison while imagining how easy it would be to overdose him on MDMA and make it look like a tragic accident during an experimental therapy session. Do you provide those services here, or do I need to go somewhere else? I have a colleague in Oregon who specializes in psychedelic-assisted therapy, Dr. Harrison explains while writing down contact information on prescription paper that probably costs more per sheet than most people spend on medical care in a month. The treatment is completely legal under Oregon state law, and the results are often transformative for high-achieving individuals who need to process stress and optimize their emotional regulation. The appointment concludes with Dr. Harrison scheduling my follow-up visits and prescribing various supplements and treatments that will cost approximately $15,000 per month, but will probably make me feel like I'm investing in biological optimization rather than just aging normally like everyone else. The beautiful thing about concierge medicine is that it allows wealthy people to purchase the illusion of medical superiority through expensive treatments that may or may not actually work but definitely cost more than most people can afford. One more thing, I tell Dr. Harrison while he's finishing his notes. I want you to prescribe ketamine for depression treatment even though I'm not actually depressed. Ketamine is a dissociative anesthetic that's recently been approved for treatment-resistant depression but can also be prescribed off-label for various other conditions that don't require specific diagnostic criteria. The drug produces hallucinations and out-of-body experiences that some people find therapeutic but that I find interesting from a research perspective because I want to understand what it feels like to completely dissociate from physical reality. I can prescribe ketamine therapy for mood optimization and stress management, Dr. Harrison agrees while writing another prescription that will probably cost $1,000 per session. We'll start with low doses administered through nasal spray and monitor your response carefully. Ketamine therapy is completely legal and medically supervised but produces effects that are similar to illegal drugs that people go to prison for possessing. This allows me to explore altered states of consciousness while maintaining plausible deniability about my pharmaceutical experimentation and personal drug use. It's like having a controlled substance prescription that doubles as a get-out-of-jail-free card for chemical exploration. By the time I leave Dr. Harrison's office, I've spent approximately $8,000 on medical treatments and prescriptions that will probably have minimal impact on my actual health but will definitely make me feel superior to people who rely on conventional healthcare and generic medications. The receptionist schedules my follow-up appointments and provides me with contact information for the stem cell clinic in Panama and the psychedelic therapy program in Oregon. Everything is paid for with a Black American Express card that has no preset spending limit and generates enough rewards points to pay for first-class flights to medical tourism destinations. The elevator in Dr. Harrison's building is mirrored stainless steel with a marble floor that reflects the LED lighting and patterns that make me think about kaleidoscope fractals and geometric hallucinations. When I look at myself in the mirrored walls, I can see the physical perfection that I've achieved through pharmaceutical optimization and genetic advantages and personal discipline. My skin looks younger than my chronological age. My muscle definition is visible even through expensive clothing. My posture suggests confidence and dominance and the kind of physical presence that makes other people instinctively defer to my authority. The street outside Dr. Harrison's office is lined with luxury cars belonging to other patients who are presumably receiving similar treatments for similar reasons. There's a Bentley Continental GT that probably belongs to some hedge fund manager. A Ferrari 488 that suggests tech entrepreneur or cryptocurrency early adopter. A Rolls-Royce Ghost that indicates old money or new money that's trying to look like old money. My Tesla Cybertruck looks futuristic and aggressive compared to these traditional luxury vehicles, which is exactly the aesthetic statement I want to make about my technological sophistication and willingness to embrace innovative solutions to conventional problems. The drive back to my apartment takes me through Central Park, where I can see joggers and dog walkers and families enjoying the kind of outdoor activities that poor people use as substitutes for expensive gym memberships and personal training sessions. These people probably think they're maintaining their health through free exercise and fresh air, but they don't understand that optimal physical condition requires pharmaceutical intervention and medical supervision and genetic advantages that can't be achieved through willpower and good intentions. They're playing checkers while I'm playing chess, except the game is biological optimization and the stakes are longevity and cellular regeneration and competitive advantages in every aspect of human performance.